walking and talking, being real with each other, sharing their disappointment, trying to figure out what this meant for the movement, but what this meant for them. Talking from the heart. That's what the two people on the road to Emmaus were doing. And I think that that's actually the way most of us come to faith. It's not a big, dramatic event. It is as we walk and talk together with friends, as we share our vulnerability, our fragility, that we actually uncover what is in our hearts. And we begin to say, yeah, we felt something, and it changed us. Walking and talking, hearing each other, sharing out of our vulnerability. If that's the way many people come to faith, I gotta tell you, this format that we're in right now, it's not set up for that, is it? I do all the talking. You do all the listening. And even then, sometimes your minds wander off because you don't get your turn to talk. So I want to tell you about an experiment that I'd like to do, and the worship committee's been talking about it. And I know we're very nervous about experiments because they change how we regularly do things. But I'm proposing an experiment and asking you to be open to it for July and August, where you will be invited into a worship where there's listening and talking, where there's sharing of our own stories and trying to hear another story. And not just hear the words of it, but hear the heart of it. So, first I'm going to tell you about a trip I went on, and we're going to zoom through these slides. And then I'm going to tell you the experiment that we're proposing, okay? Look at here. We all know this, but experience creates mastery. If you go to a lecture, you retain 5% of what you hear. Well, I'm a little discouraged by that. If you read something, it improves to 10%. If you're in a discussion group, it improves to 50%. And then if you teach others, it improves to 90%. So we can't go all the way to the teaching others over the summer, but I want to propose that we will have a 10-fold improvement, that we'll go from just the lecture to the 50% where we have discussion. So first, take a look at this church that we saw, that I visited when I was in Seattle. It's the apostleschurch.org if you want to find it. And they were set up in a big room that's kind of like our lower hall, okay? It's just the kind of lower hall space. They had at the back, they had a space for the children, and around the corner there you can see the couches and that, so that it was comfortable. Parents could be there with their babies and that kind of thing. And it was wonderful to watch the kids at the back. And they had a PowerPoint. It was just with a projector. It wasn't set up as built in as ours, and it was more elementary. But they sang what was on the stage, and they had pictures with it. It was very nice. They had a communion table that had lots of candles on it. Now, they're Anglican, so that happens. But they had, all around the outside of the room, spiritual practices that everybody could participate in. So here, there was flowers all around a big bowl of water, and people could come up and take a petal off the rose, make a prayer, and then they could take back a rock, a little stone, that they played with during the service, and was just a reminder of their prayer and of the steadfastness of the community around them. There was other spiritual practices as well. So they had the old icons, which we really think about as the Orthodox Church, but it didn't matter. It was quite intermixed, and there was chairs and pillows around, and it was actually quite moving to go during the service and sit and look at the black Jesus, could light a candle, or and just look at them. There was other ones as well. They had different icons, and people moved around, and they wrote things, and there was different prayer stations. This one had lots of pens and everything, and you wrote down what your prayer was, and many of them were incorporated into the prayers during the service. Many of the churches, just about all of the churches, and I know this is a kind of an American thing that comes out of their culture, but many churches, restaurants, public places, businesses had this sign: "In this house we believe Black lives matter, women's rights are human rights, no human is illegal, science is real," I can't read the intermediate ones, "kindness is everything." So they had their statement of belief right out front. And it was just kind of moving to see that the people got up, and they had very lightweight chairs. People got up, and they would go and sit in a chair and gaze at an icon and do their own private prayers. They would interact a bit during the service. The kids danced during the hymns, and their parents with them. I want that for us. I want us not, the form of public worship that we have here. Like, it comes from a long time ago, when the minister was often the educated person in the community. They were one of the ones who could read, so they could study the word and then interpret the word. Folks, we are long past that day. I want you to know I don't harbor any idea that I'm the smartest person in this congregation. I have particular training that I am glad to offer. But it is in the dialogue that I believe we'll find a way to speak about who is the living Jesus in our midst. It's in walking and talking together. So I want to propose to you in July and August that we will move downstairs for our regular worship services. We'll be in the lower hall. There's details to be worked out, I have to tell you. But they'll get worked out. We'll just use a projector and a screen. I hope we'll set up some little prayer stations. I hope that we'll set up a place that's safe for the kids to be safe, but included, not separate from us. But a place that works also, with the hearing that we need. I propose that Roy will leave up his bridge tables. And we won't sit in rows, but we'll pull up to a bridge table where there's 4 of us who can put our heads together and have discussion, and that there'll be some guided discussion. I will still offer a message, but it'll be a message that you will talk about. We've been talking with Cadbury Bay Church, and we have kept saying that we're going to be a regional, progressive Christian community. Then I ask people what they mean when they say we're going to be a progressive church, and the answers are all over the place. So I propose that we spend part of the summer thinking about what in theory do we mean by progressive church? And then have small discussion at your tables with a cup of coffee and tea, lemonade, and talk about, does that fit for you? Right? Because there's nobody, I can tell you all I want that these are the 8 principles of a progressive church. But if you don't buy them, well, they're dead in the water. What we do has to be owned, has to be talked about, has to be shared. We have to be able to say, well, if I was going to say that, I would be scared about this. We've got to be able to do that. So I'm proposing that we'll have some input, we'll have some conversation. We'll sing hymns, music. We'll have a summer choir like we did last year. We can do all that. We'll be in the coolness of the lower hall. We'll have it set up quite differently. We will have a sound system, but we won't be able to have the sound system that has the earphones. So we're going to have to ask the people who sit with, who need the sound system with the earphones. We're going to have to ask those folks if they would please sit at tables that are very close to the front. And with the microphone, I will attempt to, and we'll find out how we can make it so that those folks can hear. Does this make sense? I feel like I should have a way for you to say, hey, I'm willing to experiment. In AA they say, come to meetings for 6 times before you judge whether or not it fits for you. I'm asking you to come for 8 times. Figure out if this could fit for us. Are you willing to try? Experiment? Okay. Should I ask who isn't? You want to know who isn't? Who isn't? Okay. So, that's a little intimidating, I know. But let's play around a bit, okay? Let's lighten our spirit in the summer. And let's see and experiment with what other churches are kind of doing. And with new formats. Let's be flexible. So I hope that you will support that. Because I believe that it is, as we walk and talk together, as we sit at table and share a cup of coffee and bread and wine, I think that's where we'll come to that place, that aha moment. I feel the Spirit with me. I know I'm not alone. Thanks be to God. Amen.